Good morning, students. Welcome back to our series on important topics that we are discussing here in one of the videos, in one of the playlists that we are sharing with the students. Okay, so the first we have discussed the important novels, 101 important works in British literature, which has both novels and dramas. And then we have discussed the important poems, the 60 poems, 64 poems that are important from UGC-NET perspective. And in the last video, we have discussed about the important literary criticism work, where I have asked you to create the notes on all the topics that I have discussed in literary criticism. One page is more than sufficient for literary criticism topics that I have discussed in the earlier videos. For example, if there is a work of St. Coleridge, Biographia Literaria, or one page is enough if you are making down the notes on that. Preface to Lyrical Ballad, 1.5 page, one page enough. Letters of John Keats, one page is enough. Okay, Aristotle or Plato, one page, 1.5 page, and that is enough. Francis Bacon's essays, one page, that is enough. Okay, so you have to make one page or 1.5 page depending on the importance of the author that we have discussed in the previous video. If you have not checked out the previous videos, I have given the link in the description below, so make sure that you are going through all of those videos in order to crack the competitive exam in literature. Video we are going to discuss the non-fictional prose. Okay, so you see, non-fiction, it is difficult to separate non-fiction from fiction. Non-fiction you are going to find in British literature, non-fiction is there in literary criticism. Of course, criticism and theory is all about non-fiction. There are no stories. Fiction means stories, poems, okay, plays, novels, those are fiction. Non-fiction means when someone is trying to tell about something. For example, these days non-fictional books are hot pakoras in the best-selling list. Okay, you can see Psychology of Money, Ankur Wariko. If you have been through the videos of Ankur Wariko, you may find he is publishing books one after another. A lot of YouTubers are publishing books one after another, and all those are non-fictional books. Alright, so just now Chetan Bhagat has also released the book 11 Things that Can Change Your Life. Okay, those rules, I have personally read that book. Like, if you want to improve your career, you can go through that Chetan Bhagat's recently released non-fictional books, that is 11 rules to change your life or something. And the fourth lesson is the importance of English, how important English is in the 21st century. Okay, so that is really something commendable, that is appreciable, that people are coming up and accepting English, that holds the value to help you get the opportunities. Okay, knowledge is okay, but when you have good communication skills, when you have understanding of English language, that's really helpful in getting the job opportunities in the future. So that's the fourth lesson in Chetan Bhagat's book. In fact, I am reading around 10 books nowadays. Most of my time is going on reading books. A lot of books I am reading because I have started a business, and I'm just trying to get hold of that business by reading a lot of books, because learning equals to earning. Okay, so that's what I believe, and that's what I suggest you to develop a reading habit. Alright, so in this video we are going to discuss the non-fictional prose from British literature alone. So we are not going to discuss American literature or Indian literature. Okay, Indian literature, like we have the aesthetics of Dalit literature by Sharan Kumar Limbale. So that has appeared in 4 to 5 exams in the recent set exam, PhD, as well as in the RPSC exam in the last year, and here also in the UGC-NET exam in the last year they have also asked the same questions, who has written the aesthetic of the lit literature. Okay, so Sharan Kumar Limbale is the answer for that. I'm not going to discuss the Indian literature or American literature. In this video we are going to stick to British literature alone. Alright, so let's jump onto the computer screen to figure out what all are the important non-fictional prose. Then you can start studying. Okay, half page is enough. Okay, I'm not saying you to write down the complete 1 pages, 2 pages on these non-fictional prose topics. Half page. Okay, half page for one topic, half page for two topics, and the back side of half page for the third topic, and back side of the half pages for the fourth topic. Half page, 1 page, that is more than sufficient for non-fictional prose, because most of the time they are asking the questions like, who has written Seas of Thebes, who has written English Language and Politics. Okay, that's George Orwell is the right answer for that. Okay, so they are generally asking who has written what. But again, I will suggest you to at least fill half of the page to go through that topic. Maybe they can ask you a little bit more detail in the future, as the competitive exam is getting difficult every day. So maybe in the future they may ask you. Okay, again, if you don't have any material or if you don't have any guidance, you can check out Limitless Literature books, Limitless Literature courses. I will be providing you the complete guidance on everyday basis. I will be helping you throughout the course, and also we are going to share a lot of video lectures that we have uploaded in the private playlist. It's also going to help you a lot, all the strategies and everything we are going to share with you if you enroll into our course on Limitless Literature. You can check out the website limitlessliterature.com to know more about our books and courses. And now, without any further ado, let's begin with this video. Let's jump on the computer screen. So I have created this non-fictional prose. For example, the first one is Seas of Thebes by John Lydgate. Of course, it's a poem, but yes, I suggest you to read this also because 3 to 4 times they have asked it, and in the poem section I haven't found out this poem. Again, it's a part of poem section, but I have put that in the non-fictional prose also. The next one is Aeropagitica by John Milton, for the liberty of unlicensed printing to the Parliament of England 1644 prose. Almost 10 questions have been there in the previous year. Questions: The Progress of Poesy, a Pindaric ode by Thomas Gray. There have been questions. All these 40 or 50 works, there were questions on all these 47 works. Okay, so do not skip any of the work. It will just take you 4 days, 3 days or 4 days to complete the list. And then it depends on your revision, how much you can revise. Revision is the most important thing. You have to revise 15 times, 20 times. I myself has revised 20 times, 25 times every day. Revise. You cannot complete the syllabus, but make sure that if the question comes from your notes, you do not get it wrong. So otherwise, what is the use of studying literature? What is the use of studying and making down the notes when you are not able to write down the answers with 100% accuracy in the exam? Okay, so revision will give you 100% accuracy. If the topic comes from the things that you have studied, make sure that you are not going to do that wrong. Alright, so let's get back onto the screen. My first acquaintance with poets by Leigh Hunt. Here he has talked about Wordsworth, Coleridge and all the Lake poets. So that's important one again. A Modest Proposal by Jonathan Swift. Almost 10 to 12 questions have been there in the previous year. A Tale of Tub by Jonathan Swift. Important one. The Battle of the Books by Jonathan Swift. Reflection on the Revolution in France. Okay, so this is by Edmund Burke. Reflection of Revolution in France triggered Mary Wollstonecraft to write Vindication of Rights of Man, Vindication of Rights of Woman. Okay, so that's also important. The Pilgrim's Progress by John Bunyan Allegory. Of course, that's not a part of non-fictional prose. But again, I have missed this particular prose. I missed this particular work in the 100 important works video, so I have mentioned it here. Make sure that you also go through that Pilgrim's Progress. And there is a video on YouTube, a movie on YouTube. I strongly suggest you to go through that video because there are a lot of characters in this, the Pilgrim's Progress. Almost 20 characters, 15 characters. So if you go through the movie, if you watch the movie, that will give you a good idea about the characters, what all are the characters, how the Christian met villain in the drama or a poem, allegory. Okay, so I suggest you to go through that video. You can simply search it on YouTube, Pilgrim's Progress movie, and you may find this movie is what I have already watched, and I suggest you to go through it before working on the summary of this Pilgrim's Progress. After going through the movie, you can go through the Pilgrim's Progress summary or work and you can write down the notes on it. Move on to the next one. We have A Vision by W.B. Yeats. Here he has developed the theory of Gaia. Okay, Kipling's The White Man's Burden. Of course, that's a poem, but again, I have put that in non-fictional prose, a sort of non-fictional thing he has talked about. Francis Bacon, Novum Organum. Okay, these all are the parts of literary criticism also. Advancement of Learning, William Wordsworth's preface to Lyrical Ballad, Leighton Stretch's Eminent Victorians, Sir Thomas Browne's On Burial, William Hazlitt on the Feeling of Immorality in Youth, Leigh Hunt, What is Poetry, Robert Burton's Anatomy of Melancholy, The Rationale of the Copy Text by W. W. Gregg, George Orwell's essay Inside the Whale, John Keats' letters. Again, this is a part of literary criticism. So if you are studying in literary criticism here, you can skip this. Thomas de Quincey's On Murder, considered as one of the fine arts. Byron's English bards and Scottish reviewers. Bowler's edition of the Family Shakespeare, A.C. Bradley's Shakespearean Tragedy, George Orwell, Why I Write, Michael de Montaigne on the Cannibals, Charles Lamb on the Artificial Comedy of the Last Century, Charles Lamb, The South Sea House, The Heart of Midlothian, Walter Scott, Battle of Books, Essays of Elia. Okay, so that's also Charles Lamb. Battle of Books is, I think, by Ben Jonson. You can check it out over internet. Who has written this work? I am not able to recall this. The Decline and Fall of the Empire in 6 volumes was a great achievement by Edward Gibbon. Of course, there were 5 to 6 questions in the past. Politics and the English Language by George Orwell. I found almost 7 questions from here in the past. The Confessions of English Opium Eater by Thomas de Quincey. In most of the questions, they are asking simply who is the writer of this particular work. For example, Thomas de Quincey, many times, like 6 to 7 times, they have asked who is the writer of the Confessions of an English Opium Eater, who has written the work on the knocking at the gate in Macbeth. Okay, so they are asking the titles, they are asking who has written this, who has written that. In fact, from Charles Lamb also, Essays of Elia, they have asked who has written Essays of Elia, who has written on the Artificial Comedy of the Last Century, who has written The South Sea House. So Charles Lamb is the answer. So I'm saying, like out of 4 options, they are simply asking who has written which work, who has written which title. In fact, before going through the summary of any subject, you must remember all the titles of the authors. At least this is the first step. Okay, whether you have studied the summary or not doesn't matter. That's the second step. You must know all the works of titles of Ben Jonson, titles of Christopher Marlowe, titles of William Wordsworth, titles of S.T. Coleridge, titles of Charles Dickens, Virginia Woolf. Titles are important. Almost 30 questions are like this. Who has written which work? Who has written this work? Who is the author of that work? Who is the author of this? Who is the author of that? Almost 30 to 35 questions they're asking. In the match of the following also, they will give you just work and you have to match the following, like 4 options are there, and then you have to match the 4 authors with that work. Who has written this, who has written that. Okay, so most of the questions are like this. Again, in the non-fictional prose, you have to write only 2 paragraphs, 3 paragraphs in your notes. These works will be enough. Maximum 4 days, 3 days, 4 days. Take the help of Wikipedia, Google, internet. Okay, or else if you're in our batch, you can check out the study material that we have provided to you. We have not arranged non-fictional prose in this manner. You may find the works over there in the British literature booklet, okay, in the poems booklet, in the important works booklet that we have provided you in the study material. All right, let's move on to the next one. So we have Short View of Immorality and Profaneness of the English Stage by Jeremy Coyler. Samuel Pepys' Diary. Again, there were 5 to 6 questions in the exam. Thomas Brown's Religio Medici. All these are the questions in the previous years. Okay, The Two Nations by Benjamin Disraeli. Here he has talked about the poor and rich. The two nations, the first nation is of the rich, the second nation is of the poor. Okay, The Theory of Natural Selection by Charles Darwin. Okay, so he encouraged a lot of movements. For example, naturalism, taken the inspiration from this work, The Theory of Natural Selection, Survival of Fittest. The next one is The Round Table by William Hazlitt and Leigh Hunt, History of Renaissance by Walter Pater. Here he has discussed about the theory of art for art's sake. Okay, Account of the Augustan Age in England by Oliver Goldsmith, A Room of One's Own by Virginia Woolf. So I have not covered out the Virginia Woolf because when you study literary criticism, you are going to find the works of Virginia Woolf, A Room of One's Own, Kill the Angel in the House, okay, Professions by Virginia Woolf. All these are the works that are in the literary criticism. When you study criticism, you are going to find it out. Okay, so criticism and non-fictional prose is not going to take you more than 5 days. So then we have literary theory, and that's very important. British literature, that's important. In the next videos, I will share with you the non-fiction prose from American literature. I will share you the complete list in American literature, what you have to study, what you don't have to study. Summaries will do the work. In British literature, you have to do something, a little bit of extensive study of the works, but in American literature, it does not work like that. In all the subjects except British literature, in all the subjects like Indian, American, Italian, Russian, all those works, German. Summaries will do the work. You don't have to study the depth of those works. Summary, that's enough. Spark note summary, grade saver summary. Okay, that's more than enough for other subjects. But in British literature, you have to do some extensive study of the important works that we have discussed in 101 important works British literature video. All right, so make sure that you subscribe to this channel, because that helps me to keep up my work, that helps me to keep running this limitless literature channel. The things that we are doing day in and day out, helping you figure out how to study, what to study. Okay, so we are sharing everything without any deception. Okay, so that's what we have to discuss in this video. I will see you soon in the next video. That's it for this. Thank you.